Yes, you're up. Let's do it live on a First Friday edition of the program. Merely Bo and the Great Z.
Got any gum?
So good.
So good.
So good. Miss him so much. No Gibby today. Battling. He's in the throes of it.
Battling. Yeah. I sent him a very sad gift from, I believe.
I did see that.
Is that from Bridesmaids?
It might be.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
Whatever it was apropos for the state of affairs for Gibby.
For Gibby. Yeah, not at his best. So no Gibby today. We will push on without him. We are in the midst of construction here. We've got scaffolding.
Yeah.
There's cardboard down.
It was announced to us yesterday at the in the meeting.
Sure.
That there's going to be some construction. There's going to be some work done on this floor. It's going to have a new look. There's going to be a new look above us. I think this is going to have a new look. There was a rendering in it, you'll be happy to know, that featured you and I.
Both of us.
Seats reversed.
Presumptuous.
Which was presumptuous. There he is, B. Lynch.
So us here?
Yeah. We were.
Same setup?
Similar.
Were we inverted?
We were inverted. You had a wonderful likeness.
Yeah.
I looked a lot like Colonel Sanders.
Can I see this? Who has the physical copy? Does Swag have it?
No, probably Swag does, or Monica. Monica would have it. She put together the presentation, and I had multiple people comment to me and say, what's like, you're a handsome guy. What's the deal with all these likenesses where they keep doing you dirty?
Yeah, because
I don't know.
They did you dirty on the poster.
Oh my God, where I look like Jesus from The Big Lebowski after all-day buffets for 8 months. And no exercise. Yeah, you're getting Swag on this.
Yeah,
he's got it. I mean, he's part of it. So yeah, there's gonna be some things going on here. All right. So we'll see. So there will be a point in time this summer when this program will be broadcast from a different location because nobody will be allowed on the second floor here.
Undisclosed location.
An undisclosed location.
Yeah.
Boy, you know what would be fun is if during that period of time, if we had a giant tour bus and we just
drove around,
toured around and did CBD.
One of the greatest back in the heyday
of
this program, and I realize that you and I are only 5 years into it, yet I feel like there was the off season coming out of year one. Was the heyday. I mean, that's a T-shirt every week.
For us?
Yeah, for sure. That's a T-shirt every week. We don't know anything but joy,
I'd say that we're still like, it doesn't mean we can't get back there.
No.
But it was a lovely period.
No. It was just the acquisition of Odell, that whole off-season Worlds team, the Four Horsemen.
Gosh.
I mean, there were so many things that were happening at that moment. Dick Winters, there were so many things that were happening in that time period. And one of the things that we discussed was taking this show on the road, and going to the Browns backers charter the clubs around the world, the world's team, and there was talk of an Australian swing,
which I am still all about,
a European swing.
People still want us to do that. People want us there.
Well, thanks. Swag goes, you're definitely still in it, huh?
No, thanks. You want to see it. You want to see it.
I said, well, thanks, team player.
We'll see if we can get you guys a copy.
All right. I just need to see the likeness.
Yeah. I think you'll get a kick out of it. It was a good fun. It was some good fun yesterday at the meeting was had at that.
Yeah.
You look great, though. I mean, for you, it's like it wouldn't be even a bad thing to get framed and put up in your office. You know what I mean? For me, Like, I realize I'm not blind, folks, okay? There was a time in my life when I had dark brown hair. That time is gone. Now I have salt and pepper, heavy on the salt. But there's still, like, color in there. Like, I'm not the Colonel.
So they have you like you're slinging chicken.
I'm like Gandalf.
Boy, Gandalf the White was a dramatic entrance.
Boy, was it.
Wasn't that
Showed
something?
Up in the
That's Helm's Deep, wasn't it?
Then when he came back?
Yeah. Was that the first time he showed up with the white coming down?
I think he showed up in the white in the forest, but like briefly. And then
it was like, oh.
And then when he came back in the hour of their need.
The biggest hour of the most need.
Oh, boy.
That was quite the wasn't the best fortress for that type of thing. You're pretty much backed up into a corner there.
Well,
no
right,
escape routes.
Nobody can get in theory, until
But there could be people came in from above too, so you weren't even at a high point. You had the walls, right? I mean, I haven't seen that
you
in
had
a long
the walls
time.
up around, but until the front. The front was like carved into the mountain, so they couldn't have come down like the back of you. That's why, like when Gandalf came down, he came down that hill and wiped out all the people who were in the valley. So it forced people to come through a narrow valley right
No,
at
that's
you.
true. So that's
you
pretty
could,
good
like-
design. Yeah, good design.
Yeah. What I think they needed to do in retrospect was, and they won, but thanks to Gandalf only, they were going to lose to the mighty Uruk-hai.
Yeah.
But I think all they needed to do was get a big hose,
Yeah.
right, full of what was the stuff from Game of Thrones?
Oh, the green stuff.
Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah.
A hose of that, spray it out there on everybody, shoot an arrow. Legolas, let's get a flaming arrow in there.
Do you think-
Wildfire.
Wildfire. That's it.
That's it.
Do you think that I just kind of put all of that stuff in like the Middle Ages?
Yeah.
Is where I put all of that. Like I
Yeah,
put
that's-
Thrones in
yeah,
like the
yeah.
1200s or 10. I don't know
Sure.
what would be the appropriate time frame.
Well,
Somewhere
Whatever
like
dragons were.
600. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Medieval times.
Medieval times. Like that would be the realm. I don't
Yeah,
know how
that's the
long
realm.
medieval times lasted.
Yeah. that's
Did
the
they
realm.
have hose like abilities?
I guarantee they had it. Well, I mean, I'm sure they had the ability to pump something through,
Yeah.
water through
Water through something.
a tube.
Yeah, the Romans had aqueducts, so that's even
yeah.
predates that. So there's
Yeah, but that's
There's
way
some way through.
before.
way before.
So we're
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
or you have aqueducts set up that point in there, and then when it's time, wildfire just is constantly flowing all over them, and then you light it on fire, and they all burn, and you go about your business.
There you go.
You're in a stone fortress, no big deal.
Yeah, yeah. That would have been the best way to handle that.
It is amazing to me, though, as we sit here and ponder the world,
Sure.
how often the odds are insurmountable for the good guys, and yet they always surmount. So that gives us hope as Cleveland Browns fans that our time is coming. Like, there's no way the rebellion should have beaten the Empire in Star Wars. There's no way that the good people should have won against Saruman and Sauron
There was a
in
lot
Lord of the
going on,
Rings
man. That
and
was-
Mordor. Yeah, all the orcs and the Uruk-hai. No way. Not a chance.
Too much. Yeah.
And yet,
Not bad. Good does prevail.
good prevails.
Um,
Rebellions are built on
magic
hope.
helps.
Magic helps.
I've pushed the chips in on the Star Wars stuff on the Disney Plus. I can't keep. I don't know what era we're in on any of it. I don't know what the hell's going
So
on.
you got to watch Mandalorian.
Well, I watched the first season of Mandalorian,
Okay.
and then the boys kind of petered on it a little bit.
Okay.
So they watched the first one, and then we haven't got back into it.
The second, which is Boba Fett, like the Boba Fett Chronicles.
No. Like there's several seasons of the Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
So we've just watched the first season, like
okay.
the first 6 episodes,
Yeah,
and then we
I think
kind
there
of
are two.
bailed.
I think there are two.
Might have been whatever.
The
so
one that I really want to get into is Andor, which
people
is,
say that's great, but I
it's
don't know
the Rogue
what
One guy.
time does that take place.
So Rogue One, the Rogue One guy. So that that's leading into 4.
yeah,
That's where Rogue One ends.
Yeah.
But he's alive still, so it has to be before that, right? So it's got because
yeah.
pretty sure he bites it at the end.
Well, the hardest thing
So
for
it's prior to that.
the thing that's difficult is in one of the ones we tried watching. See, the boys don't fear. They went into Star Wars not fearing Vader,
Insane.
which is all
so
we were
formidable.
terrified of Vader.
I had nightmares.
For
Fever
sure.
dreams.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But because they knew how it ended, so they don't view him as formidable. So in one of the series, like they show like some of the dark stuff that Vader does, and the boys are like, "Whoa, really?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a bad dude, man, bad dude." So
Why didn't they fear him? Because they knew he
because
was
they knew
portrayed
he was
by Hayden Christensen?
think about how he is at the end in
Because they saw
in
Return of the
Jedi.
Jedi first?
Well, yeah, they saw Jedi before
Yeah.
they saw the prequel stuff or any of it. So that once you see Jedi, you have a totally different view on Vader because he comes full circle. He's a good guy in the end, takes care of the Emperor. End. Game, set, match.
Yeah, but if you watch, yeah. But I mean, it's obviously that he's bad before that.
True, but he's cuddly. I mean, remember the things at the end of Jedi
Yeah.
when they're all buddies?
The funeral
We're all
pyre.
friends again.
Oh, yeah.
We're all friends again. 23rd Annual Greater Cleveland Sports Awards set to take place tonight, 7:30. The Hoff is set to host. Boy, has he asked you for any advice on the hosting?
No, he's the Hoff. We've
He's
talked about it. He said that he didn't have to, what I was really concerned about was would we be able to get together and all of us break some bread and drink
Yeah.
some wine? Nay.
Nay.
In today, out, nothing.
That's it. So
Yeah.
he's in and he's out. That's
He's-
it.
he's out. Oh, here he comes. Look at him.
There he is.
I bet if there was a likeness of him,
Look
more
at this situation.
another
pair.
Another pair. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Just Wednesday.
I
It's
mean, a
only
light
Wednesday.
blue, just a nice powder blue,
It's only Wednesday.
a khaki. It's a Wednesday. He's walking around like that in this weather. How do you even walk around in those shoes in this weather?
He must
Galoshes?
He's got to have the. We're gonna inquire about that. We need to inquire.
Yeah,
He's
get
got to
an
have
answer to that.
those rubber mocks
Galoshes.
that you slide your shoes into.
Yeah, I think they're called
Yeah.
galoshes. You slide them in, and then away you go. Because you can't take on this type of water. Wait.
The color of those is pristine. That's a cream.
Yeah, you can't.
By the
You
way,
can't
I'm
take
told
that
that a ceremony will be taking place here soon. Oh, baby.
Wow. I don't want to get too.
Baby. Oh, baby.
Can you imagine? I would tell you, and I think this is a fair statement. Gibbe is rooting for it not to happen. He will take more pleasure, as scintillating as potentially this could be for all of us. He would take more pleasure in being right and us being deprived of it than him actually getting one.
It is 100% within the realm of possibility that he is currently communicating with and or trying to pay off Brad Mellon to make sure that this doesn't happen.
That's what I think, too. Yeah.
Which brings up a very interesting question since Gibbe is not here today. What's the deal with his intense hatred and denial of joy for me in particular? But sometimes you get lumped into that too. And then he was back in Poisel yesterday like he was his child.
Well, I think he views Poisel as his child. I think the other thing that's about it that happens there is what I found was curious is he at one point told Poisel, "Don't back down." Poisel's facts were off. It's a loss. At some point, you have to just push your chips in and just
You say, I take the L.
Take the L.
It's a sunk cost.
See you next week. Hope for the best. That's it. And he was trying to encourage further litigation.
I just think he likes anarchy and chaotic situations that are at our displeasure.
I think you're right. I think he – remember when Hoff was in here that time and he's like, wait a second, isn't his job to make your job easier? And he couldn't
broke
represent
it all down in 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
Hoff had it nailed.
No, that's not well.
Oh, man. So the Hoff – he will host the Greater Cleveland Sports Awards tonight. He will absolutely crush that.
It's at Quicken Loans Arena.
Is it the Q?
It's at the Q.
Well, is that with the renovations? Do they have like a ballroom there or something that they host that stuff, or do they
I
put it all the way
somebody,
down
so
on the court?
we'll find out tomorrow. But I asked somebody, and they made it sound like it's happening like on the floor, and there will be people in the arena seats,
Really?
which would be like the WWE Hall of Fame, which sells like 15,000 tickets.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah. So how do they? So the professional athlete of the year nominees are Nick Chubb, Jared Allen, and Jose Ramirez. So Jose Ramirez will win that.
Nick Chubb is a powerful guy.
He is, but Ramirez is going to win.
He's potent.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. C swag.
Hold on. Wait. What's that?
Yeah, we get.
You keep talking.
Yeah, so here Monica's here now. Yeah, we need an answer. Yeah, she's going to be the one that's going to be able to handle it. Yep. Yeah, she knows. You're getting a text. She don't even keep writing.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, Bo looks great in it. I look like Colonel Sanders. That's all.
We need to see it.
Yeah, we
want
want
to put eyes on it.
Yeah, we want to see it. Yeah.
We need to put eyes on it, Monica.
She's got it. She's on it.
Yeah.
Monica's an absolute get it done person. If something needs to get done, you tell her we need this.
Yep.
It's gonna get done. No questions asked.
Yeah.
That's why she's elite. That's why she's like if you bought
Buy
stock.
stock.
If you bought stock in Lindsay a couple years ago, right now.
It looks
You're
like
not
she's
here.
looking at it right now.
Yeah, she's laughing at it.
She's looking at it. Yeah, that's what we need to see.
Yes. Text it to me. Yeah.
Send
Text
it over.
Right here.
Send it
right
over so we can
Text
take a
it.
look. Yeah.
Text it.
That's what's necessary, I think, is right there. We need to see that likeness.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we need.
That's
Look
the
at him.
likeness.
Look at that guy.
He knows
Yeah,
about
he
the
knows.
likeness.
Yeah, he knows. He knows.
All right, let's see if this gets sent. Now we'll have a good feel about where we stand.
Well, like I said, I think that you should feel great. I don't feel bad. I'm still here.
Well, it's like when we did the poster, like tremendous honor in the fact that you were on it. But then also Nick,
Look at
of
the
course,
heavy
he's
hitters,
dialed
just
in. All the
luminaries.
important people.
Look at those shoes he had on. They had like air bubbles in there.
Nothing to be surprised about.
No. Oh, here we go.
all
Here
right.
it is.
Is this it? We've got it?
Here it is. Yeah.
All right, we've
Yeah,
got it.
We got. You got to really zoom
All right,
in to
I'll
get
get
to
a-
us, though. It's hard on a phone to get the. It was much better on the big, but you could tell that you have a nice head of
look at-
hair. You got a nice beard, and I
Look at
am.
us back there.
Yeah, we're in suits
We
also, which a comment was made about that, as you might
We
imagine.
are in suits.
But it's hard to see. But I look. I mean, I am like white as white can be.
Yeah, you
My
are.
hair, beard, all
Yeah,
totally white.
you
Look
are.
at what a great.
This feels like the same desk.
Yeah, you have a great head of hair. But do you notice that? Look how thick your beard is.
Yeah,
It's stunning.
really is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good to see.
But it looks like
There.
there's going to be people sitting right outside here, just
like a little studio audience for us.
hanging out. Yeah.
It does look like that, and then you've got. Okay.
Is that B Lynch walking by? Looks like maybe B Lynch or Dom is on.
I think it's Dom. Look at the
yeah,
no
look
heels.
at the heel. No
Heels
doubt.
up.
That is incredible.
They got that likeness down.
Yeah.
So this looks like the same. Everything looks same here for us.
Gibbe's window. Yeah.
Gibbe's windows right there.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
still
same.
there. No, it's just more about the fact that I have.
It's just more so much than it is
hair.
that you are.
I look like Colonel Sanders.
It's a whiteout.
It's a whiteout. Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's what you're saying. We're inching closer to the championship games. Those are both set for Sunday. We have the finalists for the NFL honors. We will go over that for you. We will continue our roster breakdown with the running back position. Could be a position where there could be some change. We'll go around the NFL as well on the program today. We got a little mock draft from both Mel Kiper and Dane Brugler, among other things. We're off and running here on a First Friday Miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. There's a new way to cheer on your Cleveland Browns with the help of your favorite four-legged companion, Barking Backers, presented by Milkbone, is the Browns' newest club for pet parents worldwide. Sign up today at barkingbackers.com. Barking Backers, the fan club for dogs. Do I need to do that for Buddy Garrity?
Oh, buddy. I mean, I'll tell you what. The day that little Asa got her
Did you
her
see
box,
the text?
Unbelievable. Which one? The bottom,
From
the last
Swag about the galoshes.
one? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Do you preserve the shoes? No, you don't.
No.
You get a new pair.
You get a new pair. I sent him a little Kenny Powers back. A little
dollar bills, y'all. That's it.
That's it.
They're bringing that back, KP.
What's left to accomplish?
Well, not much. I mean, I think you got to take him on the road again. I think you almost have to. It almost has to be like when they on the last Rocky, where they acted like the one with Tommy Morrison didn't happen. Like, that's what you got to do. You just got to act like that last season, which was really funny when he was on the sports show and all that.
Yeah.
You just got to act like that didn't happen.
It's
like
not
he's
part
not
of
married.
Canon. It's not part of the canon.
Not part of it. Start over. Alternate choice for KP.
Well, you could do that like Marvel did the What If series, the whole series of well, what if, this slight tweak happened?
Yeah, that's what they'll need to do.
I'd like to do it. Why don't we do we should do an episode where Stevie Janowski is actually the guy and Kenny is his Stevie. What do you think about that? How fun would that be? Him ordering Kenny around?
Amazing.
And Kenny
Sold.
loving it like a
Sold.
lap dog?
Sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Stevie's unbelievable.
And then being
He's
ridiculed by Ashley Schaefer for being Stevie's number 2. And Stevie would
That
be
would be-
defend him. It'd be great.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it.
That should be the thing. You and I should be on development deals for HBO. We got ideas for Curb.
More idea.
We got
men.
this. Thrive on enthusiasm.
Come on. We would have. Sounds like there's things
Some rumbling.
untoward things happening, but I realize it's just drills. We would have done a better ending to Game of Thrones. We would never work another day because we'd be constantly there'd be parades in our honor for how
They would
we
just
landed
give
the
you
plane in Game of Thrones.
You would just give you development deals sight unseen
Well,
on
I just
anything,
think we'd be
just
on
cash.
A lot of times we'd be on people's shoulders,
Yeah.
and they would just be,
How great.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'd be in
One of the most joyful television experiences of my life.
yeah,
You landed it.
right.
You delivered the ending that was deserved so richly. And there were probably about 1,000,002 ways that they could have ended that all would have been satisfactory.
And they were like,
And they went,
why don't we do everything?
let's really suck.
Let's be as bad as we can be.
Let's go as bad as we can do. And now it's so bad that show isn't even it never gets talked about
Because of the end.
because of the ending.
I think that's fair.
anytime people talk about rewatching a series, nobody ever says, "Oh, I got to go redo Thrones again." And it was the most fun I ever had watching TV. NFL.com, the NFL honors finalists for MVP and the rest of the awards of 2022. Your most valuable player finalists: Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, and Patrick Mahomes. How do they do this? It's the AP's voting on this. Top 5 picks for MVP, top 3 for the other awards.
All right, so let's do your winner and your runner-up.
Mahomes. I'll go Hurts.
I would too. That was my
Mahomes,
okay.
Hurts.
Yep.
And I think Mahomes will win by a pretty sizable margin
Yes.
here. I think he'll be number 1 on most ballots, and then he'll be, if he's on the ones he's not number 1, he'll be number 2. I think it's possible on some of the ones that Hurts is. I see no scenario where I see some where maybe Hurts isn't the second pick, that maybe somebody goes Burrow on some, or even Allen.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I
Or
could see that.
Jefferson. Jefferson was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mahomes is going to win by a wide margin on that. AP Defensive Player of the Year, there are 3. It is Bosa, Chris Jones, and Micah Parsons.
I go Bosa 1, Parsons 2.
I think you have that as well.
I'd go TJ Watt, honestly, if I could.
I think-
in half of a season.
I think Bosa's will be a pretty big winner.
Yeah.
Feels like he will be he is kind of, sometimes this happens with award seasons where an individual player gets the juice for the team accomplishment,
Yeah.
and there's nobody that they can give to MVP on the 49ers offensively. So Bosa will be like the recognition for
The
the
surrogate.
49ers.
Yeah.
Good job. AP Offensive Player of the Year, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes.
I see this as an award not for a quarterback, so I
Feels
give
like-
Justin Jefferson.
It feels like it's evolved into that, which I'm
Yeah.
for.
Me too.
I didn't like when it was quarterback gets the MVP, quarterback gets Offensive Player of the Year. I think this started, was Travis Henry. Was he the one that it was like,
Derrick Henry?
or Derek? Good Lord. How many Henrys? do I
Cooper
get?
Kupp, maybe?
Cup, probably too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Jefferson wins it.
Yep. No, he limped home, much to my fantasy team's chagrin.
Yes, he did. AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, Brock Purdy, Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson. What do we do here? Because two of them played portions of seasons.
I mean, it's got to be Brock Purdy, right? Garrett Wilson's got the best full
He's
season.
the
but,
only one that's like that played the full season. Like Purdy didn't even play. What did he play? 6 games?
I don't know, but whatever he did
Agreed.
was insane.
No, I understand your point. I just mean
Yeah.
like it's not like he played 17 games. He played
No.
6.
I'm fine. If you want, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with Garrett Wilson.
And Walker, what did he play?
I don't know. Not enough.
Half the season?
Yeah, and he wasn't. Garrett Wilson was very up and down. Like he had a bunch of big games.
Yeah.
More with Joe Flacco than with Zach or anybody not named Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, yeah.
Sauce Gardner.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner, Aiden Hutchinson, and Tariq Woolen. Sauce. Boy, how does if you're the Jaguars, aren't you going, what were we doing?
Yeah, was Walker
Too early?
He was just very average.
Yeah, you never heard anybody talking about him. I always
No.
heard about these guys.
Yeah.
Sauce and Hutchinson and Woolen were always the guys that you heard about. Comeback Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey. It's Geno Smith,
That's what I said.
clearly.
Yep.
Would win that. I mean, the other two come back from injury, but we've seen their greatness before. Like, Geno Smith comes out of the clear blue sky. It's not like anybody thought that was coming. I mean, we thought they were tanking.
He didn't write back.
Amazing.
No, yes.
I think
To the playoffs.
I think it's one of the stories of the year.
Agreed.
And I think if he would have done it someplace other than Seattle, it would have been even a much bigger story. Seattle's such an outpost that
Yeah.
it doesn't get. They just don't get the coverage. If he had done that in New York or
Oh, my
DC,
goodness gracious. Look at how much they love. Yeah, no
yeah,
doubt.
come on. AP Coach of the Year, Daboll, McDermott, Peterson, Shanahan, Sirianni. If it's not Kyle, I can't help you.
I could see Sirianni getting
It's
it.
got to be Kyle.
I agree.
3 quarterbacks?
I wrote gangsta.
3 different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
What do they go, 13-4?
Yeah. And they were 3-4.
Yeah. And he did it with 3 different dudes, including the last pick in the draft who's a rookie. Like, listen, folks, you could go back and check the tape on our training camp shows when the Eagles showed up, and we went, oh.
Yeah, they're going to be formidable. They're
Yeah,
gonna be a problem.
you could tell off the bus on that offensive defensive line that it was built different. So the only question with the Eagles, and I
Was
remember
Hurts.
we were sitting there saying, it's just, is Jalen Hurts ready for this? And we just needed
Yes.
to see it. And the answer to that question was emphatically yes. He was ready for it. But
Quite.
Kyle, 3 different quarterbacks, 13-4. Come on, no chance.
I'm with you. I think Doug Peterson should get a nod as well. I mean, to take
Yeah.
the Jags to playoffs, pretty impressive.
Dable did a
Dable
great
did
job.
a great job.
McDermott went through the most in terms of
Sure.
all the stuff all the hands that they were dealt this year. AP Assistant Coach of the Year beats me. Ben
I was gonna say
Johnson,
DeMeco
Lions
Ryans,
OC.
I've heard a lot about, but-
Ryans seems like the guy.
Ben Johnson would be a fun one.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a fun team.
Yeah, they were. The NFL's got to fix this hiring process.
Agreed. It's agreed.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
It's not very good. Did you guys have a snow day today?
No. Did you?
Yeah.
No.
I've come to the conclusion that the only thing that my children that supersedes snow day announcement from an excitement standpoint
Christmas Eve.
is Christmas morning.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing else. Like, we surprised them. We're going to Disney in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like, they were thrilled, but not like snow day.
And was NBC on going today anyway? Or is he like, oh, man, I'm getting a snow day when I was like not going to go anyway?
No, I think everyone was going. I mean,
NBC was back.
NBC was back. Everybody was in the mix. They were going, and they asked me last night. They've asked me the last 2 nights, like, we're gonna have a snow day, and I'm always no. And he goes, well, why do you always say no? And I said, well, because when the snow occurs yesterday, it wasn't going to be something that wouldn't be cleared. And I said, I don't think it'll be, because I think it'll be cleared today as well. What I didn't factor in was the slush turned to ice at the end of the
little
day
treacherous.
and getting the children home.
Yeah.
That was the
No, it's gonna be a it's
hook
the
in the
drive
giddy
home's
up.
gonna be a
Turnpike treat me right.
yeah. It's gonna
That's
be
the way that's
it's
gonna
be
go.
formidable. No doubt.
So I said, I go, look, you got one job as a collective. This snow is ripe for packing. I need a snow fort. I need
while they're
snowball
home,
fights.
Yes.
I'm not. I don't need you on Xboxes all day, like that. I'm done with that. We can't have it. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't live with them. Can't coach them. Won't do it.
Won't
so that
do
was
it.
it.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
All right. Can I read you something
Yeah.
that
Sure.
just
Go right ahead.
this is something now. All right. Now they're saying it's a joke. Thank goodness. But this was tweeted out by A&W, the maker of A&W root beer, yesterday.
Okay.
And they have a mascot. Are you aware of their mascot?
No, I don't think I am.
America. Let's talk. Since 1963, Rudy the Great Root Bear has been
Okay.
our beloved spokesbear.
Okay.
We knew people would notice because he's literally a 6-foot-tall bear wearing an orange sweater.
Okay.
But now we get it. Even a mascot's lack of pants can be polarizing.
No, this isn't right.
Therefore, we have decided that Rudy will wear jeans going forward. Not to worry, though, he will remain our official spokesbear. After all, he is unbearably cute and impossible, to replace. We are confident Rudy will continue to champion good food and good times for many years to come, now in denim. They followed that up 20 hours later and said, is now a good time to mention that this is a joke.
So this is in response, I think, to the M&M's nonsense.
Which is, yes, which our guy's taking a huge victory lap
course
over.
he is.
Oh, yeah. That's some of my favorite content of the week.
He's won as big as can win.
He won.
He's won as big as you could win. So I'm guessing this is playing along with that.
My guess is, too. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that is good. I think you enjoy a root beer?
I was never a root beer guy. I was always cream. If it was root beer or cream soda, 100% cream soda.
My brother was root beer. I'm the same as you. I would go to the cream soda. 2 options. Give me the cream soda every time.
And it would, I'm sure, be no surprise you. Nate, give me a root beer.
Oh,
Big-
of course.
Big root beer guy.
Big root beer guy.
Yeah.
Traditionalist.
Purist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Browns fans, today through midnight on February 9th, head to the NFL.com/FedEx, the NFL's official Twitter handle on the NFL mobile app to cast your vote for Nick Chubb as a FedEx Ground Player of the Year.
He needs it.
2022 FedEx Aaron Ground NFL Players of the Year will be announced during the NFL Honors on February 9th. Is it true that he is lagging?
Significantly so. Which is
We're
very
going to
sad.
lose to Raiders
Yeah.
Nation? I'll tell you this.
Jacobs is running away with it.
Here's what I would say.
What would you say?
Whatever ill will you may have towards last season as a Browns fan,
Yeah.
none of it should fall at the feet of Nick Chubb.
Nicholas Jamal Chubb. No. in
That
fact,
dude did it all.
He was incredible.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
you are joining Jim Brown on the 1,500 mark,
The only 2 in the history of this story
the
franchise.
5-point yards per carry,
Yeah.
again, this is heady stuff. And it's something we're going to get into coming up next as we continue our positional breakdown at the running back position. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Signals, turns, play action fake. He's got a man wide open. Hunt tumbles. He's got it. Touchdown into the end zone. Gives the ball and Hunt blasts through. 15, 10, corner, 5, touchdown. He's got 2 of them. Kareem Hunt, 1 by air, 1 by land, and the Browns lead 13-0. Brissett takes the snap, gives it to Chubb, takes it left, takes it outside, got the corner. 10, 5, cut back, touchdown. He's got a hat trick. Take off your hat and throw it out there for Nick Chubb.
What a luxury to have Kareem Hunt wear down this defense. Here you're going to get Nick Chubb, and he said, Zagura, stop talking about field goals. I'm getting my 3rd touchdown.
I think Kareem, he brings a lot of energy to the team, a lot of intensity, and I feed off of that. When Kareem's in, he's running the ball hard. It gets me going, so I enjoy playing with him.
Oh, yeah, I most definitely feel the same. Seeing, Chubb start off the game real strong and stuff, I can't wait to get out there and, give him a break and, bring the same intensity and, physicality.
2nd down and inches. Gives it to Chubb. Runs near side right. He's got the 1st down. 40, 35. He's 30, 25. Cut to the middle, 20, 15, 10, 5. He's gone. Touchdown, Nick Chubb. Brissett turns, gives it to Hunt. He drives left side, driving, going in. Touchdown, Kareem Hunt. They give the ball to Chubb. He's driving for the goal line. He's in.
30 here left, Bo.
Nick Chubb and the Browns are winners. Chubb, the running back. They give it to Chubb. He runs to the right, turns the corner. He leaps over a tackler. 40, 35, 34, down to the 33.5-yard line and a 1st down. 13 yards.
We're just lucky to get to watch Nick Chubb in his prime.
Right.
Every single week he does something spectacular. That was no exception.
It's bittersweet, individually, something I'm proud of, for sure. Had a lot of help with the O-line. And
Coming in right here.
at the end of the day, I'm about winning, and it's stuff to be proud of, for sure, from this season.
You're up.
All right, your Cleveland Browns Daily off-season position breakdown centers on the running back position on the roster. Nick Chubb, who's an unrestricted free agent in 2025. Last season, 1,525 rushing yards. That was a career high. He was 3rd in the National Football League. He joined Jim Brown as the only Browns player to reach 1,500 yards. He had 12 rushing touchdowns, tied for his career high. Tied for 5th amongst running backs with their 240 yards receiving and a receiving touchdown. Jerome Ford remains on the roster. Didn't see much of him. What we did see, we liked Demetric Felton on the roster as well. The free agent pool is the other part of this equation. It is Kareem Hunt, who was an unrestricted free agent after 468 yards and 3 touchdowns, another 210 receiving and a receiving touchdown, and Dearness Johnson, who, when he plays, is really, really good. He just hasn't played much because, quite frankly, this room has been stacked. In terms of reserve and future, John Kelly Jr., Nate McCrary on there as well. But this is a conversation that will mostly settle around Kareem Hunt, Dearness, and who's back and who is not. In terms of this room this year, Nick Chubb did – I want to say I picked Nick Chubb for Offensive Player of the Year to start the year.
You did.
Yeah, and so he was on pace for some of that type of accolades had we won more. But I don't know that – to me, when I think of this room, I just think of – stunning what happened with Kareem this year, that there wasn't that type of production that we thought.
Yeah, on the season, Nick Chubb, we mentioned the 1,525 rushing, 12 touchdowns, 239 receiving, 1 touchdown, 9 yards a catch. He averaged over 5 yards a carry, first player ever to go ahead and average more than 5 yards a carry in each of his first 5 seasons, regardless of position in NFL history. 1,764 yards from scrimmage, 13 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt this year, 468 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. Didn't score since early in the season. Averaged just 3.8 yards a carry. He had 35 catches, 210 yards, just 6 yards a catch. He averaged just 4.3 yards a touch, 678 scrimmage yards, 4 touchdowns. And for Kareem, this was a real kind of fall off. And considering that he played the full season, the last time he played a full season for the Browns was 2020. And in that season, he gave you 1,145 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4.2 yards a carry, 8 yards a catch. It was a career low in yards per carry. It was a career low in yards per catch. And you think about last year, prior to his injuries, 4.9 yards a carry, 8 yards a catch, just a significant drop off from Kareem Hunt. And you think about now, I think a lot of people thought Kareem Hunt after this year would go and he'd be the starter somewhere, and we don't know. He's 27 right now. He'll turn 28 prior to the start of the next season. And you just wonder, his physical style, does that take a toll on him? I've loved having Kareem here. I loved what he brought to the team. I thought last year in many ways he was really part of the heart and soul of the offense. This year, though, he was not at the same level as he had been in years past. I'll be curious to see what he is able to secure as a free agent, but it feels at this point unlikely that he would be back with the Cleveland Browns. Dearness Johnson, 2 years ago when you needed him, gave you 5 yards of carry. No, go ahead.
Real quick on Kareem.
Yep.
Like, he started the season in a way that felt commiserate with what the expectation was, right?
Yep.
I mean, first 5 games from a touches standpoint on the ground, it's 11, it's 13, it's 12, it's 10, it's 11, it's 46, 58, 47, 49, 47. It's tough yards. There's 4-2-3-2-3 out of the backfield. Like, it's kind of – I thought that would be the season, that every once in a while it'd give you 120 total yards, but that it would be a consistently 75 total yards, between 60 and 80 total yards a game was what you thought was in play. And it just fell off bigly. It's stunning.
To your point, week 1, 70 total yards, 2 touchdowns. Week 2, 74 total yards. Week 3, 61 total yards. Week 4, 68 total yards. Week 5, 57 total yards and a touchdown. Tough game against New England for everybody, 12 total yards. Baltimore, week 7, 5 carries for 4 yards, a touchdown, 1 catch for 4 yards. So 8 total yards and a touchdown. He would not score again after week 7 in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, 72 total yards. That's week 8. The Browns have their bye. Post-bye, Kareem Hunt, 19 total yards, 54 total yards, 21 total yards, 74 total yards against Houston, 12 total yards, 27 total yards, 22 total yards, -1 total yards against Washington, 28 total yards against the Steelers. And it wasn't – he didn't look the same that he was. Perhaps he was battling something that we don't know about. I have not heard that. But, yeah, it was – Kareem Hunt didn't produce the way that you would have expected, and I'm curious to see if he gets a shot to be a featured back again, and maybe this was keep some of the tread on the tires this season for him. But brought so much to this organization in his time here. I really felt that way, both in the locker room and on the field, and so I think it's probably time for him to move on, and Jerome Ford will ascend to be your backup running back behind Nick Chubb. You got John Kelly Jr. and Nate McCrary here on reserve future deals. Dearness Johnson, again, 2 years ago when you needed him, 5.3 yards a carry, 100 carries over 500 yards. The 2 games he started, we'll never forget, he was the FedEx Ground Player of the Week against Denver, over 140 yards on that Thursday night the Browns had to have, and he delivered, carried them to victory literally on his back. Great player, great guy, plus special teamer. Is there a role for him here? Probably, but my guess is he's going to seek greener pastures somewhere else, because it feels like Jerome Ford is the future. I think when I look at this roster, I think Nick Chubb will be back. I think that Jerome Ford will be back. Demetric Felt's listed as a running back. He's not a running back, and I don't know necessarily what the future holds for him here.
Right.
But I think that you could see them look to add maybe like a scat back type, somebody that could play some third downs.
Weapon.
Somebody who can just catch the ball in the backfield and be a little bit of a weapon for you, can block and do that, because Ford showed he could catch in the preseason, and maybe he'll get more of those opportunities this year. But you need a third guy, and maybe somebody who's a little bit different in terms of their skill set than what we have. We have so many guys who are the same. Like a Nyheim Hines would be a nice add, I think, to our team. So that's what you're looking at, I think, in this running back room going forward.
Yeah, it does seem like that, and it's amazing. Like Dearness Johnson had 4 carries last year on the season, which is wild considering the production he had the year before. Gibby wants to know, give me one word to describe the Browns' running back room this past season.
Chubb.
It's funny, I was going to say the same thing. Chubb. That's it. That's the word. What does the importance of the run game change with Deshaun Watson on the field for the entire season? Does it change? Yeah, for sure. It's different. It's going to be mostly out of the gun, I would think, and you're going to be standing next to Deshaun. It's going to be catching passes. It's going to be blocking out of the gun. I mean, that's where Watson's is most comfortable. I know he wanted to come here and play in an offense under center, and he's comfortable doing that, and he's proven to be good at it. But at our best with Deshaun Watson, it's going to be out of the gun.
Folks, we should not be a 47%, 50% run team, and I know people still want to run it more and more and more and more. we should be a 40% run team, and we should throw the ball a lot. Deshaun Watson's going to get involved. You saw the lighter boxes for Nick Chubb as the season went on and how he was able to take advantage of that and do some of those things. You look at our last 2 games with Deshaun Watson. Even look at the last 4 games with Deshaun Watson. 21 for 99, 24 for 92. That was on that snow day. 14 for 104, 7.4 yards a carry. 12 for 77, 6.5 yards a carry against the Steelers, which is very, very good for Nick Chubb. In those last 2 games, 116 total yards, and then he followed that up with, in the following one, with 122 total yards. That's what you're going to see. Nick Chubb in the 15 to 17 to 20 carry range. Obviously, when you have wins, you're going to run it a little bit more, but I think the sledding is going to be easier for Nick Chubb with Deshaun Watson, and we're going to throw the ball more, and we're going to be a more effective, more explosive offense.
Is there a place for Dearness Johnson on the roster in 2023?
There's always a place for guys like Dearness Johnson because he can help you not only, as a running back, as a pass catcher, but also he can help you as a specialist. The question is going to be the salary and what opportunities are available to him on the open market. Because
I hope he gets a shot.
I hope he does
go be
too.
a dude because I think he can be one.
I'd love to see him in Miami. I think that would be a great spot for him. I think that he could fit into that offense very seamlessly, make a nice 1-2 punch with either Mostert or Jeff Wilson if they don't keep both of those 49er guys there. He's somebody who could go, I think, to the Jets and be a great kind of complement to Breece Hall, because similar if they bring somebody in who runs a similar style offense there. I like Dearness. I like Dearness a lot, and his story is awesome. And I'd like to see him have some success and get an opportunity, because when he needed to be the guy for the Browns, he showed he absolutely could be the guy. And so you would love to see him be able to get that chance.
To me, feels like Kareem could end up in a lot of places. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up back in Kansas City. I know they like Pacheco, but
and McKinnon. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if he could end up back there, or Buffalo. I know Buffalo was interested at the deadline.
Right. The question is, does he have the juice that he once had? And that's obviously what he's going to say that he's out to prove.
Yeah.
Buffalo would be a nice spot because you got James Cook, who I think is going to be good. They just need to give somebody a chance to get into a rhythm of a game, and that's what they never do. Nobody ever gets to run the ball.
Well, they don't run it. No. It's like 4 carries, and then we're going to sling it the next 15 times.
Right.
We went over what Demetric Felton is and what he is not. In the event that Hunt and Johnson both leave, is there a place for John Kelly on the active roster? No. Look. You hit it. I mean, this astutely, to the surprise of no one. Nick Chubb, Jerome Ford, and then you need a weapon.
Yep.
The third guy's got to be a weapon.
A pass catcher.
5 to 10 plays a game. Where's he coming from? Who's this?
Yeah. That's
what you need. And you can get those guys in the draft. Pacheco is a 6th round pick.
Right.
You can find those guys.
But I think
But I think you need somebody. If it could tie in the return game, then that's a win. But you need to have a little bit of a weapon that you can bring in from time to time. I like that scat back.
It's
got Dave Meggett.
Yeah, Dave. I think it's got to be somebody that can catch the ball out of the backfield and help you a little bit on third downs. That's what I think you're looking for. That could come in the draft. Or that could come with a cheap veteran, because there are guys that have done this at a high level for a long time in this league.
Yeah.
And that's really where we're at. I mean, this is going to be a very good room again because it's led by Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
I think Jerome Ford's going to bring an explosive element as the number 2 that while Kareem was very, very good and powerful, we didn't really have another explosive complement. And then and Ford can become that guy. I mean, I liked what he was doing in the preseason catching the football. So full off season for him, full season hopefully. And then, I think if you can pull somebody in that is good out of the backfield, like look at what Jerick McKinnon's done for the Chiefs. That wasn't expensive, and he's been fantastic. Just find one of those veterans.
You can't have – I mean, if you just think of positionally what we had, look at this. Outside of Nick Chubb, the amount of really talented players in this room and the production that was garnered from it, it didn't add up.
Yeah.
So you can't have this much talent in rosters that's taking up roster spots that isn't delivering on the field production.
Yeah.
And we were just a little unbalanced.
Yeah.
In this room a year ago.
Yes. And I think that ultimately, you want Nick Chubb to be that guy. He is so good. I have no problem with him taking the lion's share of the work.
Yeah, but you can't have this many resources allocated to a room that is Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb can do it. He doesn't need all this in the room.
Yes, it's out of whack. Right, which is why it's nice to have, I think, a second-year guy on a rookie contract, Ford, and that you could then bring in a veteran who'd be playing at the league minimum or about at it, near it, who's just to catch passes, or you draft somebody who can do that.
Yeah.
I just think draft. we'll get to the wide receiver room, but the biggest question is you have major needs at defensive tackle and the need for somebody to take the top off of the defense. And I think if you were to talk to every player and coach on this offense, say, what is the one thing we must have to get to the next level next year? That is what they would say. We need somebody to create space and force a defense to respect them vertically. And then this offense has a chance to be very, very, very special.
Yeah, that's the minimum requirement. Second hour coming up next. We start off with Around the NFL. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Team of injury lawyers dedicated to every client every day. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Second hour of the program here on a First Friday edition. How are the roads? I mean, we've been in here for an hour and a half.
I don't know. I just saw for art, my daughter,
Did you
her
get
theater practice canceled, so there's no
it's all
post-school
coming.
activities. I mean, it's not good.
No.
I was getting
the
pelted by
slush-
freezing rain.
Yeah, the snow, slush, snow trifecta
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it's good. Now rain starting in 8. Oh, my God. It's going to be brutal here for the next. The commute's going to be awful. Like the commute home is going to be just dreadful
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
Give yourself time, folks, out there.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little bit of time.
I also think this is
Go
my
ahead.
public service announcement. If you're not comfortable driving in these conditions, just don't do it. You don't want to be out there going
Yeah.
like 12 miles an hour on the freeway. That doesn't help anybody.
Nobody
either.
wins.
Nobody's
there.
winning from that.
Yeah.
So just let's put that out there. On my way here, there's some people that clearly were not comfortable on the road. Just don't be on the road.
It's fine.
It's fine.
There's solutions. People be understanding. And
Yeah.
if you are a boss, be understanding
Yeah. Be cool.
of it all. Be cool.
That's right.
2 weeks into the head coaching searches, no hires. Why do you think that is? So says Gibbe.
I think it's probably because of the strange way that this coaching searches play out. Like DeMeco Ryans is a hot name, and there are some teams that probably want to know what he's doing. He canceled two of the interviews. He'll interview again in a few weeks, and maybe he's a top candidate on some teams' list. The Sean Payton domino has not fallen.
Nor do I think it will.
You think he's sitting the year out?
I think he's
I'll
sitting
see on
it out.
down. I'll see on
down the road because I mean Denver's the only logical place for him. There's no place else that I would think would make sense. As we correctly projected here, the Chargers weren't going to pay Brandon Staley not to coach.
Yep.
They didn't. So he's going to be back there. There's nothing else that's appealing that's out there. And
Denver.
every year he waits, the compensation for him will be less from New Orleans.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So sit it out another year. What's his hurry? If you're him, I guess Denver's the appealing one if you believe in Russell Wilson. That's
Correct.
it, though. The rest of them are pretty – there's not a great gig out there, man. There's not like the Jaguars gig last year was a great gig because you're going to get – you believed in Lawrence. Like, that many people weren't going to be wrong about Trevor Lawrence. Now, you didn't know how much he was ruined by Urban. But,
Correct.
But you knew that he was – that the pound of clay was good,
Great Clay.
right?
What a ball.
So this year, I don't know what's the best gig.
I mean, it does feel like in Indy you would feel like you could win because of that division, right? Like that's
Well, with the thing there is you better like the quarterbacks in this draft. So because the Texans blew it, boy, in the finale, Indy, and Dane projected this very easily, can give up the 4 this year, next year's 1 and a 2 to go up from 4 to 1 to get the quarterback they want. Then get Bryce Young.
yeah.
And that's something I think the Bears would do in a second. You get the Colts #1 next year. You get the 4th pick overall. You're not picking a quarterback anyway. Or they go the other way and pick quarterback and trade Fields. But either way, that Colts position is going to be a nice spot because
Yeah.
either they're picking at 4, they're staying there, and they'll probably end up with C.J. Stroud because it feels like Levis is going to Houston. It reminds me a lot of the Zach Wilson stuff, that like people are just in love with Levis because of arm talent.
Okay.
So if it goes Young, Levis, defensive player, then at 4 you're sitting there in Indy and you can take C.J. Stroud and give up nothing.
Yeah. This is going to be a quick spoiler because I know we're going to get into Mel Kiper's mock and later on in the program. But this reasoning, so he has the Bears staying at 1 and taking Jalen Carter, the defense tackle from Georgia. He has the Texans taking C.J. Stroud 2. Here's what he says. Houston just fired Lovie Smith. Franchise clear offseason priorities to upgrade the quarterback position. Now, a lot of people are saying that's where Derek Carr ends up in Houston.
Is Houston?
Yeah.
That would not make much sense to me if I were them.
So
Unless they just don't
ESPN
like
said the
these
3
guys.
quarterback moves, the big moves, Brady to the Raiders, Derek Carr to the Texans, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets.
So the only problem with
Executives predicted where these quarterbacks would end up. That's what they came up with.
I saw Fowler's thing, a piece on that. The only thing that I think it would be odd is Brady would be away from all of his kids. He's got 3 young kids. The one lives in New York. The other, I assume Giselle is somewhere in Florida, Miami or something. Like, is he going to be across the country from his kids?
So that you
They're
think
all
that
young.
also would speak to returning to the Bay Area.
Yeah, I do. I think that's probably but I don't even know if Kyle would
want him.
As crazy as that sounds, but he will be 46 years of age, and you've got at some point it's done, and you've invested a lot in Lance, and Purdy has shown you plenty. So,
yeah,
I don't know. That's always my pushback on him coming west is, I don't know, like you're going to be away from young kids for a whole year?
Yeah. So this was C.J. Stroud, Texans, mentioned they fired Lovie Smith. He closes his thing out with, I have Stroud just barely in italics behind Will Levis and Bryce Young in my rankings. So he has Stroud third. He has Young. Levis first, it sounds like. Young second.
He's loved Levis for the whole year. Remember when he fell in love with Jimmy Clausen?
Oh, yeah.
That one year?
Yeah.
A lot like that.
Better for pickles. Then he goes, but Stroud gets the nod here because of how he would fit. How can you even assess a fit when you don't even know who the head coach is? You don't even know the play
you don't know
caller
the
is?
roster.
Right.
Who's he throwing to? Who's protecting him? What system are they running, most especially?
Right.
How could you project
How could you
fit?
say that he gets the nod here because of how he would fit when we have no idea
nonsense.
what that even means?
Yeah, that seems impossible to me.
It just seems like a weird way to say it.
I agree.
Especially when you're saying, I think he's the third best quarterback, but because of the fit, he's going to be the first quarterback taken. But then you don't know what the fit is because you don't know what scheme they're running.
Correct. Here's my other thing on the head coaching search thing and why there's no hires. The trees have been picked. The Shanahan tree has been picked. We're waiting on Ryan's, but all the rest of his assistants have been hired somewhere else. McDaniel, LaFleur's, like all those guys, Saleh, they're all out. Same thing with McVay. His tree, there's no fruit on it, man.
Yeah.
So it's like if those guys apprentices, they don't have apprentices ready to be hired. The guys the retread guys are out there. Peyton's out there, but then he's going to be choosy, and he comes at an incredible cost, not only in salary but also in
Picks.
the give back
Yep.
that you got to get to sign him.
Yep.
And if you are a team that's rebuilding like Houston or something like that, you can't give away first-round picks for anybody. Doesn't matter who your coach is. You have to have those assets. So to me, and I would do the same thing if I was Denver. Like Sean Payton's not worth that.
Agreed.
You've already given your one to Seattle.
For Russ.
Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
So to me, I think that's the other thing. There aren't that many good candidates. Like, I'm sorry, but Dan Quinn's a really nice defensive coordinator, but I don't know that he was an excellent head coach.
Agreed.
And yet he's constantly talked about and bandied about. I just don't think that there are that many great candidates this year.
How about this? The Panthers have interviewed interim coach Steve Wilks for a second time. Like, he coached your team.
What more
for
do you need to know?
More than 8 games. And did pretty well.
Yeah.
So, like,
Nice guy.
do you need to interview him more to understand? Like, I don't.
You know what he is.
You know him.
He was in your building.
Frank Reich, that's an interesting retread guy who got done kind of dirty in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and he would be in the same situation. Like he could be somebody, are the Panthers getting a quarterback? What happens there?
Yeah.
Jeff Saturday scheduled to have his second interview for the Colts job.
Why?
What?
Same
Gibby
thing.
writes
He
it.
coached.
Why? What? You know what he is.
Yeah. And not great.
You know what he is.
By the way,
on.
the Minnesota Vikings interviewing Mike Pettin, former Packers defensive coordinator and current assistant head coach, for their vacant DC job. Source said Brian Flores, Steelers senior defensive assistant and linebacker coach, has his Minnesota interview tomorrow, according to Ian Rappaport. The tie there is Kevin O'Connell was the quarterback coach on Mike Pettin's staff.
Here?
Yeah, here.
I'll be danged. I didn't realize O'Connell was here too.
Yeah. I'm going to make sure that I have the timing of that right. But I
So
believe he
O'Connell was here with.
I think he was a quarterback coach under.
So we had
Kyle.
we had Kyle, Mike McDaniel, O'Connell. They were all here on that Pettin staff.
I'm going to confirm that. 2015. So he was on Pettin's staff. So then he came in the year after Kyle left. Kyle left after 14. So John DiFilippo would have been our offensive coordinator, and Kevin. So he came in the year after.
Okay.
But they were all here in a 2-year window under Mike Pettin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat hired some good offensive minds, man.
Yeah, that was his first job.
That's a pretty good job out of him. A guy who was a high school coach like 10 years previously and then worked his way up to the point of being a head coach of an NFL team, and then he hired those smart offensive minds.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He seemed very likable.
Pet was great.
Yeah.
Like, he could come in here and he could have hung out with us like the great Cole.
Yeah, yeah.
And you would have enjoyed thoroughly hanging
Good
out
time.
with him.
Yeah.
Great time.
Similar interests
To the Great Cole or to us?
to us.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Very much so. Very much so.
Bills general manager Brandon Beane has no issue with Stephon Diggs' frustrations after the loss, saying, quote, he wants to win and he wears his emotions on his sleeve, but that's what makes him really, really good. Beane did take a shot at the Bengals, saying, I don't want to suck bad enough to get Jamar Chase. The irony, of course, here is he didn't have to. He could have just drafted Justin Jefferson because that's the pick that became Stephon Diggs.
And folks, that's not a shot at Jamar Chase.
Not at all.
It's in fact, it's the opposite. It's inverted. He's saying that to get a player of his talent, you need to be picking at the top of the draft.
Yep.
And I don't want to be picking at the top of the draft.
And the irony of it is you don't, because Justin Jefferson is of similar talent. Some would argue equal talent. Some people like Jefferson more than Chase, and they could have just picked him.
Yeah.
Because they traded that pick to get Stephon Diggs. Aaron Rodgers was on McAfee. Man, these are unbelievable. So he was on McAfee. Yes, it's almost like an SNL skit. He's open to the possibility of reworking
And
a new
McAfee
deal.
kind of gives him he needles him a little bit, which
He
I
does.
enjoy.
Yeah, McAfee's great.
Yes.
He said, quote, there would have to be some adjustments for sure. I've got to figure out what I want to do, and then we'll see where all the parties are and what kind of transpires after that. The Packers will reportedly explore the idea of trading Rodgers exclusively to the AFC. Enough with it. Why would he want that?
Could you imagine if Rodgers and Brady both joined the AFC this year? So you would have Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Watson, Lamar Jackson, Russ, Rodgers, Brady, Trevor Lawrence.
Too much.
That's 10.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And I probably left somebody out.
Yeah, this is what I always come back to with Rodgers is like, where is his circumstance better than it currently is in Green Bay? Mr. Segura.
Nowhere.
Yeah, Watson came along as the season went along. They can add to that room. Their defense is good. Where's it better? That division is trending in the negative. Detroit's ascending, but the Bears aren't ready, and it feels like the Vikings window was come and gone. Like, that'll be tough for them to come back from that last year. They were one of the worst 13-win teams ever in terms of their point differential. So you're right there. Where are you going to go that's better and a chance to win?
Right.
It's just not. It's not there. But for him, I think it's like, what makes the dude tick? What's his why?
That's the question.
What's
What's his why? Well, and you obviously got some criticism from Gronk because he said, I still believe I can win an MVP in this league. Gronk's like, why are you talking about saying I still believe we can win a Super Bowl?
How about, did you see the Fox Sunday set?
This week?
Yeah.
You mean where they were just staying on concrete?
Yeah, and they had 7 of them.
100? Yeah. It was absurd.
We were all up there. Gronk was up there, and then they took him away. He was up there beginning, and then they took him away. Then they didn't even have him set up to, give a pick.
Yeah.
And he goes, you skip me?
Yeah. And
everybody else had a graphic, which here's a little hint for people that don't know the TV business. They weren't planning on having Gronk pick.
And he's like, Niners -9. And by the way, he was
closest.
He was the closest. Yeah.
But they were not prepared to have him pick. Otherwise, they would have a graphic.
What was he there for?
I have no
clue. Just to tell Sean Payton, you're welcome for the shoes?
I have no idea. I don't know why he was there.
Those look like some Cole Haans, by the way.
No.
Are they his brand?
He has a brand that he does. Wolf, it's something in Wolf.
So that looks like Cole Haan because it has the white bottoms.
Yeah.
They look a lot like him.
I feel like Cole Haan was the first to do that, right?
No
the
doubt.
white bottoms on the dress shoe.
Yeah.
That feels like it was it. So so I guess he was there. He must have been there for that. But those shows, there's so many people on them, it's hard to wrap your head around it.
Of random things that I would love to endorse, Cole Haan would be high on the list. Like an out of nowhere thing. Obviously, I'd like to endorse TaylorMade and Mizuno golf clubs, Titleist golf balls, things like that would be really, really fun. But just of a random kind of thing that I enjoy, like Lululemon pants and Cole Haan shoes, love to endorse them both.
You heard it. You heard it, people. Whoa.
Oh, baby.
It's like when I was at the Super Bowl and the lights went out. Easy. It's all in play. All in play here on a First Friday, kids. You just got to get to the end. We will rank the head coach openings that are available. They all are right now. We'll get to that coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily right here on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Deech, how you doing? Hey,
It's
Frank.
me,
It's me,
Frank Severo.
Frank Severo.
You may know me from Goodfellas, The Godfather. But of course,
He's always going to a pub.
yeah, go into this.
He's always going to these little haunts in
Good
Jersey.
sauce. He has right now. He's got
What's he up to?
a clip copy of the Los Angeles Times
Okay.
from March 12th, 1998.
Okay.
Los Angeles Times had it from their food section. Real cooks, the king of red sauce. Frank Severo is a real dems and does kind of guy,
Come on.
and his food, like his accent, is definitive Brooklyn Italian.
Oh,
And
my
it's him,
gosh.
The king of red sauce. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a nice title.
That is.
Oh,
You make a nice
hey.
red sauce.
Boy, do I.
Do you prefer a bolognese or a red?
I think what I've created is a little bit like
Hybrid?
Yeah, my bolognese is a little more of a red than a traditional bolognese, which is literally just kind of like clumps of meat and orange on
Yeah,
the pasta.
the
I like to have a
bolognese
little bit of
is-
a sauce with it.
Yeah, that's the carrots and the onions and the celery and
Sure.
then the meat and then then the tomato
that's-
paste and you build it.
Yeah, but not a lot of right. I use some crushed, San Marzanos.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it that way with the I guess what I like is I like a red sauce with meat.
That's what I do.
That's what I like.
That's what I do.
Yeah, I've had yours. It's delicious.
It's a delight.
I
I'll tell you what, this
Ray
lamb
Strowman had
stew. This lamb stew. It's so good. It gets better with every day that goes by, every bite.
yeah.
It's unreal.
I did. I've done several of you and Miss. We did the beef soup.
Yeah.
We've done
Lasagna soup.
I did the lasagna soup, which is a delight,
Sure.
a hearty delight.
Oh yeah.
That's a hearty.
The
it's- but
lasagna
it was-
soup?
Yeah.
It's that health food.
No,
But it's delicious.
It's delicious. Very
Get
very
those little
good.
pearls in there, and
You get those
them-
guys humming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I like how you, Miss K. The directions were to like ladle them in with each
Yeah,
ladle,
that's right.
and you
to
put them,
fold them in a little
fold
bit.
them
Yeah,
in.
Sure.
Yeah, she had that
I'm
all
doing
done.
for so in 6 days it will be the official Nana's birthday,
Yep.
and I got a Traeger for
Nice.
Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah. So this will be the first smoke.
Oh, I
So
like
I'm going
it.
to do a tenderloin for her birthday on there because that's easy. What I found is, and the sous vide is similar, but a little bit lower maintenance. It feels like a lot of the stuff you want to smoke something like you got to.
Buckle in.
It is a long time, and it involves like at some point like getting it and wrapping it in foil and like multiple iterations, and then
Yeah.
with the briskets they want you to cool it in like a cooler that is airtight
Yeah.
for like 2 hours. Then you get to eat it. Like
You know what I was really excited about?
what? I just want to like get some smoke flavor up in there.
I landed over the holiday season. Oh, jeez, drywall.
What do they put?
It's drywall. I don't know what they're doing with it.
But it
that-
looks
that
like
one
that
looked
room
it
is
crumbled.
like coming out further, right?
It looks like it's coming out like 6 feet. Like that hallway is going to
gonna
be
be
much
very
more
narrow.
narrow
It's gonna be
than
toit.
currently.
It's gonna be toit.
Yeah. So that room is going to looks like it's going to come out quite a bit.
Yeah.
I got some of those black gloves that they use in the barbecue pitmaster guys. What a game changer that was.
So are those like the ones that are kind of like rubber gloves?
Yeah,
that
but they're
you're able to-
specifically for cooking so that
Yeah.
you can just grab hot meat and
Yeah.
get to work. So like when I love doing a full roasted chicken.
Oh baby.
I love it. And
Bet you do.
and so I do that, but I'm always like, as I'm cutting it, it burns, and I've tried other things. I'm like, I see these guys with these black gloves. I'm like, this feels like these are the answers.
These the disposable latex free pack powder free heavy the black gloves.
It's a black cooking glove.
Yeah.
Game changer. If you're cooking anything with the meats that are hot, you're going to do some work, or if you're going to do like a brisket or you want to
So
shred
does it have
something.
underneath? Does it have like a little like this? Does it look more like this guy?
Yeah, like that guy.
So it's got the liner to keep the heat doesn't affect you. It's not just a thin black glove on
No,
your
it's
hand.
it's a thin black glove. No, I don't think it's got a liner, but they don't. Your hands don't get burnt. I used it I brought some down when he did the turkey.
Okay.
Even for that, it was perfect.
Okay.
Sliced it right up. Off you go.
So you're saying just more like a straight up.
Yeah, a latex cooking glove. It's really all you need. But for handling the meats, game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I like Zorro, and black gloves makes me feel like I'm
Duh.
Zorro at any point. Am I going to run into any Zorro down at Disney? They do anything with Zorro? down there?
I don't believe so.
Sad.
I don't think you will. No.
Hate to see it.
Black. I don't know. I'm going to have to try to figure out which one of these is for cooking.
Gibby wants us to rank the head coach openings that are available.
We just did.
Well, we got to do it again.
Okay.
Do we do it one to bottom?
Sure.
Who's open? Houston, Indy, Carolina, Denver. Who am I missing?
Houston, Indy, Carolina.
Houston, Indy. Nobody in the West other than Denver. NFC, nobody in the NFC East. NFC North, nothing. NFC South, just Carolina.
Yeah.
NFC West, Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think Denver's the best job. Great organization, unlimited funds, big, wealthy franchise, huge fan base. Win there, they love you forever, and you have to think, despite as awkward as Russell Wilson can be, there is history that you can win a lot with him. And so put him in the right position to succeed, and I would have the confidence that I'd be able to do that. I would have the Denver job number 1.
Same.
Number 2, you're always intrigued about building it once the right way, your way. Like if Houston were picking number 1 overall,
Yeah.
I'd feel different about Houston. And I think candidates would feel different about Houston, even though it's kind of crazy ownership and all of that.
Agreed.
But they're not. They're picking 2. So they don't
Correct.
even control their own destiny in the draft.
No.
So you're going to have to deal with that. Indy, that's a full day from an ownership standpoint. Carolina controls none of its own destiny and can't get quarterback right, but the owner feels like he will do anything to do it. And in Arizona, you're dealing with Kyler, which is a full day.
So
I would probably put Indy too.
I've switched my list around 3 times. I had Indy 3, but I don't know what their money cap situation. I know Houston's in a great situation in terms of cap, in terms of picks, in terms of all of that.
You got to rebrand that thing too.
Well, we're gonna be the Houston Oilers.
Yeah.
I went Arizona too because I would love.
You want Cliff's pad?
You're gonna get great money. You're gonna live in heaven,
Yeah,
and people there don't care that much.
it's true.
So I'm out playing golf. They'll be like, "Cool, have some coach, let's get some tacos." Sure.
If you factor in that it's us, like you and I, taking the head coaching job,
It is us.
if it's us taking the head coaching job, then Arizona's won.
Arizona's
'Cause
one.
what do I care?
Well, Denver's not a bad place to live.
No,
either,
Denver's
my friend.
great. No, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you, those are the 1, 2. If you're bounced, what?
I'm hit by a laser beam. I was almost blinded.
Oh my God, there is a laser out there.
A green laser beam.
Green
It's in
Jedi
my-
laser.
It's in my eye.
Oh my God.
Oh my god! And the thing is magnifying it. Our double walls. Our
Yeah,
double
they
glass.
are. Don't look directly at
What
it.
am I supposed to do?
Don't look directly at it. Look away. Look away. It's right on you. Yeah, Arizona's too.
Arizona.
What do
too.
I care?
Yeah.
Kingsbury got fired. What did he care? He's with the model. He
He's
said,
on
"I'm
a
going to Thailand."
One-way
ticket to Thailand.
Awesome.
Is
Yeah.
that where you that's a surprising location
Where would I go
as the
in this
one-way
event?
ticket? Like if you want to disappear off the grid, Thailand is Thailand the spot?
I mean, he said Phuket. I would probably just do the world. So I would just start and I would go Brazil, see what our little Argentina maybe.
What
Then
kind of
I'd,
trouble you get into down there?
then I'd pop across to Europe, Italy, Croatia, France.
Well, you'd go to White Lotus.
Bordeaux.
You go straight there
Yeah,
to
straight to
Sicily.
Sicily, sure. And then maybe I'd make my way, down. I'd love to go to South Africa. I've never been to Joburg. Would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. And then, hop on over to Australia.
How
New
about just
Zealand.
one though? What would be the one where you would go to just?
If I have a one-way ticket, I get to do
But
it.
like he was going to Thailand. You go one country, disappear, unwind, chill.
I do feel like it's fair if I'm going to Italy that I can hit up Italy and France. I feel like that's fair.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Italy, France, Croatia. Yeah.
Well, you had a third country.
Yeah, but I'm like a small boat ride.
Mediterranean is what
I
you're
could go
hoping.
on
You
a-
want to go? You'd go Mediterranean.
Yeah, I could go on a boat.
So I won't limit you to a country just so much as a region.
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So Mediterranean.
Like if I can get on a boat one night in Croatia and wake up the next morning in Venice. I mean, like that's
a win.
a win. It's a win, dog.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'd do.
Thailand
Although
would be down my list.
There's one thing that I
places.
would like to do though. That's on
What's
my
that?
bucket list. If we're talking like we're just going and getting crazy, like I want to go on the Amazon River.
I mean, that's a hell of a risk, brother. I think anything's in play there. You've seen Anaconda.
I know.
That doesn't end well.
No, but I've also seen the Emerald Forest. Beautiful film.
True. I got Arizona second.
I got
like what you did
Houston
there.
third from assets.
Houston.
I got Carolina.
I like that you changed it into what we would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolina fourth.
Because then I'm talking. Now you're talking quality of life. That's things
Right.
that interest me.
And then Indy, Jim Irsay sounds like a little bit of a wild card.
A little bit of wild card. Not crazy about Indy.
No. I
It's
enjoy
fine.
it for the combine, but that's
Yeah,
not a permanent
the
residence.
ease of use is nice, but I
Wonderful.
wouldn't. I'm not crazy about, spending my time there.
Like I'm really selling myself to the Bidwells or to whoever's running Denver.
No, it's
To
Walton
Condoleezza
money.
Rice.
Yeah.
That's who I'm trying. I'm
Yeah.
saying that's where I'd like to be.
Yeah.
A little Rocky Mountain High or a little. I mean, I think Arizona. Like if I got offered both jobs, even though I have Denver one, I might be like, I'm gonna go to Arizona. I'm living the best life in the place that I'd want to be. Set up our joints.
You would have
on the road to Tucson.
Who do you think would be tougher to deal with, Kyler or Russ? I think it'd be Kyler by far. I think Russ would be. It'd be like, wow, that's what an interesting thing to say. But it doesn't feel like Russ to me doesn't feel like he would be like trying to take your legs out from under you. I think it's all in play with Kyler.
As somebody who has played video games their
Yeah.
entire life, I think I could at least like relate to him on that level. Like be like, look, I get it. I like it too. But there's a time and a place for it,
Right.
and we need to be focused on being great here. And I also think, though, that I think you have a better chance of being able to trade a Kyler Murray than you do a Russ. Like, I think I could trade Kyler Murray. I think there'd be plenty of teams that'd be interested in Kyler Murray.
Are we putting a low ceiling? Is that what's going on? I just noticed that the
Let's look at our rendering. I mean, we have a seating area. Is this beam gone? It feels like an important beam that we have right out in front of us, which is a rather large beam, I would say.
oh, it is. They are. Yeah, they're putting us. This is. It looks like a ceiling.
And it looks like that giant beam is going to be reduced to like a string beam.
Looks like it's gone.
Well, there's still a beam.
Oh, there it is. You think that's it? The white?
Then we get some hanging lamps.
Yeah, that's where that is.
Hmm.
All right, very good. All right, there's where you stand. So that Denver, Arizona, Houston, Carolina, Indy. Those are the gigs.
Yeah. Denver.
The
and
best
Arizona.
job from a football perspective, like take our selfishness out of it, I would say Denver,
Selfishness, our pragmatic
Denver,
nature.
Denver, Indy 2. I think it'd
Houston
be-
might be better than Indy.
It would be very
football-wise.
good for.
Neither
They
have
just
a
got to hit
quarterback,
on a lot. In
but
Houston.
you have a lot of
like Indy's got pieces.
It does, but
They got
like,
decent receivers. Taylor's back. Decent offensive line. They've got some pieces. Houston has no pieces. Like you got to hit. You better hit on these picks.
I mean, Houston, you got Pierce, you got Cooks. If you got him a quarterback, you'd be interested in staying. Don't they have like Laramie Tunsil?
They have like one tackle. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no star. There's not a like budding star anywhere. Like you have Jonathan
Derek
Taylor. You have-
Stingley
yeah.
on defense.
It's tough.
Who's that?
You got to hit.
Who's that safety? Petrie.
Like if you put a good quarterback on Indy, you win the South next year. Feels like. But it's hard to find a good one. But because Houston blew it, like to me, if Houston was picking one, that they just blew it as big as you can blow it. Picking one is a game wrecker for them.
Unless, and of course we've had this argument many times on Browns Daily in years past, but unless like they truly like both Young and Stroud or Young, Stroud, and Levis, then it really doesn't matter. If they
Well, you'd
really
want your
do,
pick, though, either
you would
way.
want your pick. But if
You know,
they
you
felt
control your own.
if they felt very good about two of them, like really,
Yeah,
we're-
if there was no difference.
we're trying to figure out who we like better, or
Yeah.
it's one of these two,
Yeah.
then you say, okay,
It's hardly worth that though to win a nonsense
should have lost
game.
that game. It's
Yes,
absurd.
Clearly,
It's outrageous.
just as big of a. You're just a terrible miss. Absolutely terrible. Speaking of the mock drafts, we've got a couple to go over. We will do that coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Interesting because we are obviously we don't have a first round pick. So
Yet.
what well what would be the road to getting one?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's tricky. So when you do these mock drafts and when we talk to Dane, as we'll talk to Dane, and when we go to the combine and we talk to the people we always talk to at the combine, in years past we could say, hey, we know we're taking a left tackle. So let's talk about all the left tackles.
Yeah.
Like, we know that we need a speed receiver, and we know that we need defensive tackle and defensive end help, defensive line help specifically.
Yep.
So those are the two things. But it's also a situation where you don't know what's going to happen. In the second round, if somebody slips that's not one of those two positions, I think that they would take it if the value forced the take.
Correct. It's kind of like with JOK.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden, well, we don't really need this, but this guy's better than this on our board, so let's take him.
Right. I could see that
so that's
scenario.
the thing with
and
the second round that's tricky.
the other part that's tricky is free agency is going to happen prior to the draft, which you could solve a portion of that. I got to tell you something. These guys are prolific.
They're prolific. The other thing that's stunning to me is it appears that we will not be able to look out anymore.
That
that
still
in
has to
play?
stay open. That's still the stairwell.
Well, I understand, but it looks like they're putting a wall right there. Am I wrong, Walter?
I'll be able to look out. You won't.
Well, according to the rendering, I will and you won't.
Also true. And I will have aged significantly.
No, it looks like there's a wall going there.
Yeah, is that on the – let's go. Let's consult our rendering. Cause
Well, the rendering's taken from the other – we can't see it. I don't know what's going on. So anyway, so when we do these mocks, it's
hard,
going to be tricky.
but everybody knows that.
But people
We're just having
understand.
fun.
Kids are having fun. So this is going to be my number one most hit upon theory in this draft, and that is that Will Levis is Zach Wilson. He will be the Zach Wilson of this draft. There will be a consensus that he's going number 2 to Houston. There won't be much dialogue around it.
Yep.
That was always so strange. I remember even us talking about it the year of that draft with the Justin Fields draft, going like, why is it not up for debate that Zach Wilson's the second best quarterback? It was like, it is known.
It was known. Yeah. Well, that's when things we'll learn in a few weeks, right?
This is what Dane writes. So he's got Bryce Young on a trade for Chicago going 1 to Indy,
Yep.
which is feels like an easy thing to get done, and likely will.
And it feels like it doesn't feel to me like the Bears will pick at number 1. So, yes.
No. And it's perfect for them because
Yeah.
the Colts have the 4th pick, so they can still get one of the 2 best defensive players in this draft.
Right.
And they can pick up 2 1s. Or one, they pick up a 1 next year and a 2 this year, right? Because they have them getting, they got, it's for, so it's a high second. So in the top of the second, the Bears would pick, they gave their pick to Claypool, didn't they?
Ugh.
God, that's awful.
Did they give that one or did they give their second one?
I think they gave that one.
What
I
an
think
awful
they gave
trade.
that one. I'm pretty sure they did.
I was talking earlier today with somebody who played with Chase Claypool.
Yeah, they did.
No, they still have it.
No. Pittsburgh, 32nd overall.
Oh, but they have 35 from Indy. Oh, which is in the
That's
trade.
in the
You got
trade.
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
so they could
did.
have picked 32nd. They could have picked 1st and 32nd.
Yeah.
In which case, if they would have done this Indy pick trade, they would have picked 4th, 32nd, and 35th.
Yeah.
And instead, they have Chase Claypool.
And they have 53 from Baltimore. So they would have had 3 2s.
Yeah. In the Roquan Smith deal.
Yeah.
Brutal. But yeah, I think this deal happens. It makes all the sense in the world. So he's got Bryce Young going 1. He's got Levis 2. This is what he writes about Levis. Levis didn't have the senior season many expected with a new play caller and subpar supporting cast compared to previous year. Some evaluators will say those are excuses. Others see it more as explanation. Regardless, the traits, told you, physical and mental, are impressive and will lead several NFL teams to believe is a QB1 in this class.
So it's interesting. I like that he at least started with, obviously, the selection will be heavily influenced by the Texans' new hire at head coach, which is true. Yeah, and you're right. You sit there, the Bears get, in this trade scenario, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia. Mel Kiper's projection, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia.
See? Just do the deal, pick
They
up
do
the
the deal,
ones
and
and get a 2.
and
Get a
get
1
the
and a
same
2.
guy.
Get the same guy.
Same guy.
Yeah. So they'll do that.
Yep.
They'll sort that out. That seems pretty straightforward. Arizona, Will Anderson out of Alabama at number 3, and then the Bears with Jalen Carter. Then he's got another trade. He's got the Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud going 5th to Carolina on a trade for Seattle. So that would be $9.93 and a first to Seattle. So Seattle would have 2 first-round picks in this year's draft, 2 first-round picks in next year's draft in order to buttress that roster, and Carolina gets C.J. Stroud.
Wouldn't Seattle want it? I mean, and do they think Geno's around for the – I mean, he's been in the league he's not at spring chicken.
No, he's early 30s.
Yeah,
something
which
like
is
that.
not old either, yeah.
No. Detroit has the Rams pick. They pick 6. Dane has them taking Christian Gonzalez, corner out of Oregon. Some other highlights here. Raiders taking Paris Johnson, the tackle out of Ohio State. How about in our division? A lot
Steelers,
of picks.
Devin Weatherspoon, corner out of Illinois. Said Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin's going to love Witherspoon. Doesn't have ideal size, 6'1", 185, but he plays with a fiery demeanor, much more physical than you would think from that size.
Ravens, Keely Ringo, the
Yep.
corner out of Georgia. That's who Marvin Harrison Jr. just abused.
Yeah, says reminiscent of when the Ravens drafted Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah. I mean, Harrison smoked him.
He sure did. And then Bengals, Luke Musgrave, tight end, Oregon State. Third tight end off the board, 6'6", 254.45 speed. Impressive athlete. Adding a weapon like this to the Bengals offense would create fireworks. No thanks.
Boy, Chiefs 30th, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Why is he?
He didn't play.
Huh. So this year there are only 31 picks
Jackson
in the
Smith
first
and
round, right?
because the Dolphins. Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Chiefs would be like Michael Thomas to the Saints when he was drafted to Breeze.
In the second
It would
round,
be like
yeah.
that. That type of setup.
So second round, it's got us, 42, taking Mazzie Smith, defensive tackle from Michigan. Do you know much about him?
I don't.
No?
I'm familiar with his name, but
Would be the best defensive tackle on the Browns roster, he says. Where does Mel have Jackson Smith?
I believe he
Jigba
has him
go?
in the top 10. Which, had he played, he would have been the first receiver off the board.
He's got Paris Johnson, 11. He's got him 13 to the Jets.
Oof.
So the Jets would have Garrett Wilson, him, and Elijah Moore.
Yeah,
That feels like a lot.
that's a lot of receivers there, man.
Yeah.
And they'd have to give up some of this if they were going to get Rodgers. Wouldn't you have to
Yeah.
give up a 1 to get
Oh, yeah.
Rodgers, this year's 1?
See, here's some of the variation. Dane had Christian Gonzalez going 6. Dane's got him going 18th. I don't like this pick at all. 17 to the Steelers for Mel Kiper. Joey Porter Jr.
No, he's a dude.
Son, of course.
Yeah, he
Joey
is
Porter.
a dude at Penn State. He's a hell of a player.
Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, TCU to the Ravens.
I'm going to tell you what. You know the big theme of what this draft's going to, the top is going to be the quarterbacks, obviously.
Yep.
But the other opportunity here is for one franchise to really put themselves into a spot of consistent contention if they nail this, and that is the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions as a franchise have not been in this good a spot since drafting Stafford, and then you just had to draft other guys. You know, they didn't hit on all the stuff around him.
Yeah.
But their roster right now is evidenced by what you saw this year. They're give a damn level with their head coach. They have 2 1s. If they hit on them,
Yes.
their roster is starting to look bountiful
Yes.
in a hurry. Then they could be in a position. The NFC is not the AFC. There are no certainties in the NFC. None at all. You could, if you land on this stuff, you could be in position to be at the top of the NFC North for the foreseeable future. If Rodgers leaves the Packers, I don't even know what that starts to look like. Nobody knows if Jordan Love can play.
Right. Yeah.
They're right there. And the other one's Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle can skip steps. They everybody thought that they would go to the bottom. They made the playoffs this year, and they have 2 1s that they can pour onto that roster right now.
That's Houston too.
Except they don't have quite the base yet. Houston's more like us at the Miles point.
Fair. They could get good in a hurry if they
So
execute.
did we.
Yeah.
Like if you land it,
Yep.
if you land the plane, Cincinnati did this, right? But both Seattle and Detroit already have the base, and now they're going to be able to add to that exponentially with talent.
Well, and the NFC West is, I mean, other than the Niners, the Rams are not good.
The Rams
and
are going nowhere. I can't believe McVay's coming back.
Why do you think he is?
You hear the comments from the wife?
No.
She talked about, look, you're a football coach, like that type of stuff. Like, what are you going to do? You're a football coach? I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's
I
just
feel like
like
he'd be a great broadcaster, and that's a
but there's no, I guess the only spot would be opposite Al on Amazon, which would make sense.
feels like a great
Feels
spot.
like that would be a spot to be.
Feels like that'd
Yeah.
be a lucrative spot.
You would think so. But maybe he feels some sort of pull to that organization or to Stafford, a loyalty to Stafford, to not leave him. But honestly, their best move would be to trade Stafford.
Yeah.
They should trade him to Miami or wherever, Jets, something like that, and recoup some assets so they can start building again because they got nothing.
Yeah, who's going to be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins? Does
I'm gonna
Tua play again?
Well, I don't know. That Rams thing, they won it, but next year trying to sell seats at that place on these brutal teams,
They're just happy they won it.
they won it. And
They did it.
they did it.
To have lost.
But the damage to it is significant.
No doubt.
Because of the strategy with which they used.
By the way, for the Niners, real quick, McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Deebo Samuel, all DNP on Wednesday. Did not practice.
No worries.
No worries there.
No worries. Yeah. That's going to be a fun game. Those two teams. Both of them are going to be great. We'll start to get into the previews of those coming up tomorrow on the program. Still so much more to come on this edition of the program. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Tomorrow on the program, the Hoff. Good luck to the Hoff at the Greater Cleveland Sports Awards tonight at Rocket
He doesn't
Mortgage.
need luck. The Hoff's
No luck
going to
needed.
crush it.
That's it. Those are tough gigs, though. Like MC of ceremonies.
Yeah.
Those are tough gigs.
Yeah.
Because there's a tone. You want to be funny. You certainly don't want to overstay your welcome.
That would be, if there was any advice that we could give the great Hoff, it's be yourself and be brief.
Be brief.
A 30-minute monologue, I don't care how good it is, unless you are Dave Chappelle or like a stand-up comedian, it's not going to land.
There's a short list
Jimmy
of people
Kimmel.
who can go more than 5 minutes and nail it.
Yeah.
I think 5 and then out.
Yeah.
You can't. You lose them. It's too much.
What are you even going to talk about?
I don't know. Sal Powell will join us tomorrow as well, as we will preview the NFC Championship game.
Oh.
Gibby promised a mailbag as well.
Get well, Gibby.
Yeah.
1 minute.
He tried passing it off on you-know-what, but no. Not.
Not hurtful, really.
Was.
A slight against a fine establishment.
It was. It was that. So I have everything, snow day, everything was canceled. I have like a weekday off for the first time since I don't know, July 28th. Weekday night off. I don't even know what to do with my hands. What do I do? I don't.
Dude, we should hop on
All this time.
We should hop on the sticks.
Oh, dude.
30.
You would embarrass me. I don't even know what I'm doing. I
Come
can't get
on.
the hitch stick to work. I don't know what I'm doing. It would be fun. It would be fun to have you embarrass me on it.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah.
Have me
What
play
I
one of
need
the
to have
kids.
you come
Yeah.
over to do is to try to make it so that I can have two systems with two separate accounts playing against you, because I can't get that figured out
In your own house?
in my own house.
Yeah, you could do that.
I couldn't figure it out. I know you can. I just couldn't. The next level's coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.